pumping on the grind. If it's LJ from Houston, pulling up stats, you'll be pulling in stacks, hitting bookies from the back with no Vaseline. I need green and upsea quantities for a fiend, save the dreams for a king. This is H-Town, home of the lean. Astros is the team, and we rock it. We rock Texans for life, you can't stop it. Together like brothers and Becks and Jets.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? I'm back again. LJ from H-Town coming to you live from Houston, Texas. RaWordz podcast. And we are live right now. Finna talk about these NBA playoffs. You know, it's been a while since I did a show, so I thought I'd just come on and, we got a couple of intriguing matchups coming up in the second round. Still got, game 6 right here with Boston, Atlanta going on right now live. So, some things to talk about. We got some baseball going and, of course, hockey playoffs as well. So, man, just want to jump on for about an hour, spit some sports to you. And, of course, when I'm on live, I got to have my homies on, my friends, my fam, the people that I've met throughout this sports gambling industry, So one of the friends I've met, genuine guy, always good-hearted, man. Always love talking with him. So, Vix from Dave, Nerd Nation. What's going on, my guy?
What's up? Glad to be here. Glad to talk some NBA. It's a good time of year. There's a lot going on, a lot to bet on.
Hey, I agree, man. It's time to keep smacking these bookies. I got the shirt on right here, Smack City. Shout out to J Money. So that's what we continue to keep smacking. And another guy that smacks the bookies that I really love following, you know who he is, the trend master himself. Pimp Slap Play of the Day. Mike, what's going on, Mike?
What up, boys? How we doing tonight?
We're doing.
Hey, how you doing, sir? I know you been cashing winning money.
We're cashing. We've been hitting the hockey props pretty nicely. We're hitting the NFL draft props pretty nicely, and we're doing the rest of the work in the MLB as well. So it's go time.
Talk about the NFL draft. What did you bet? Intrigued me. What were your props for the NFL draft?
So I just had a couple props. I had the first one I had was Richardson, the Florida quarterback, to get drafted to the Indianapolis Colts. And, the Colts are coming in at the 4th position overall. I was reading on some of the local blogs last week there as kind of the draft was approaching and just kind of idly flipping through some NFL that the Colts had brought him back for a second visit. They had a nice long dinner. They felt some connections and kind of was all the right things to be saying for seeing this kid going out that way. Now, I didn't see him because he kind of had that big game and then dropped off the face of the earth against Kentucky last year. I didn't see him going too top of the ranks there. So Alabama quarterback goes 1. They take the Kentucky quarterback number 2. And at that point, then Houston, your boys Houston, came back and drafted up to the 3rd or traded up to get the 3rd.
Wasn't C.J. Stroud number two?
CJ, I'm sorry, yeah, my fault. CJ Stroud,
Ohio State. Yeah.
And then they drafted up to take the 3rd overall guy. So,
yep.
At that point, I thought Richardson was going. I've been saying it all week too. So plus 300 was a good spot. And the other play I've got kind of pending right now is I took the LA Chargers to draft a wide receiver. So they're drafting in the bottom 3rd of the draft. I don't have my notes in front of me, but it's coming up. It's right around the corner. I don't think we've seen any wide receivers yet. I'm kind of watching it out of the corner of my eye. And, LA Chargers are one of those teams that burn through wide receivers like they're a dime a dozen. And they've got great wide receivers, but we've seen time and again, these guys like to get hurt. They just go out there and they get hurt. They're like soft or something. So, they've got, what's his name out there throwing the deep ball to them. They can't very well not have a wide receiver to catch that ball on that plus 125. I thought he might even be the first wide receiver to come off the board. So we'll see what happens. But happy with my Eagles. My Eagles picked up the second tandem there from the Georgia Championship 2 years ago on the defensive line. There is a lot of meat on that defensive line for the Eagles. And they go again at number 30. So I'm excited. It's been an interesting draft so far, and I'm happy to see some of the moves that have shaken out. So let's go.
I'm glad you cashed in, and I like that Charger play because they do need a receiver, and Kellen Moore is the offensive coordinator now coming over from Dallas, so he's going to need those weapons because this type of offense that he runs, spread offense to where he needs receivers. So That's not a bad look.
Right.
You know, I hope you catch that for real. That'll be nice.
Thanks, man.
Um,
We'll find out soon.
Hey, for real. But yeah, I just want to talk, some NBA stuff, man, with y'all. We got live right now, Boston, Atlanta. Are you sweating anything in this one, Mike? What Boston, Atlanta?
Yeah, so I wrapped together a couple parlays. This time of year I've been trying to kind of stay away from dropping, big points, and I did like the points for the Boston Celtics side of the house, but it got up to 7.5 or so, and what I've been seeing is the sharps have been just kicking ass. When you see that correlated cash flow coming in, I know Dave likes that. When the cash flow is coming in and the spread's moving in alignment with the cash flow, it's just been. I think they're hitting over 80% right now. So I do like the Celtics in that phase. What I did do is I parlayed the Celtics with the Yankees, and I added the Vegas Golden Knights to it. So a live play I would suggest for anybody that's out there looking to get some action. The Celtics are down 92-91 right now. There's 3 minutes left in the third quarter. And the money line for the Celtics is -220. You can parlay that right now with the upcoming NHL game that's about to start there with the Vegas Golden Knights. The two put together is a +117 money line parlay. So I think the Golden Knights come out and get it done tonight. The nice advantage there is the Celtics should get it done. I've got some trends that kind of support the team in their position, of course. But Vegas Golden Knights in regulation is -115. And, that's a tricky little spot here in the NHL. We've seen these teams grip down on the stick, and they play pretty tight, with the exception of what we saw tonight from the first two games. And, I think right now the line's moving because it's live at +120. I think it's a better spot to take Vegas to win outright than it is to monkey around with the regulation spot, if you will. So I like the Vegas Golden Knights and the Boston Celtics parlay.
All right, man. Sounds good to me. What about you, Dave? You're not sweating anything in the Celtics talks, are you?
Yeah, I am, but it's I've got a same game parlay with a bunch of stuff that's not working, so I'm not going to even go over that. Okay. Player prop with it's just a shot with some trends. I'm on Tatum's. I keep riding it. I do the same thing you do. I wait until the wheels fall off, and Tatum, his PRA and point props have been overinflated. He's at 36. It's at 44.5. I took the under. It's probably in this close of a game he's going to be scoring, but I have no problem. I did well in baseball today. I accidentally did well in some player props, picking the wrong bets, so kudos to making mistakes. I'm looking at trying to bet the Vegas Golden Knights. Somehow I kind of want them to go down. We might bet some ponies later. It's just good to be alive.
Hey, I agree, man. I agree. Well, as we're watching these Celtics Hawks, man, let's talk about tomorrow's games, man. Let's jump to this Kings and Golden State. Series is 3-2, if I'm not mistaken. 3-2, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Going to game 6, back at Golden State, where we know they play well at home. Steve Kerr has this immaculate record of, playoff games at home. It's like 80-some%. It's crazy. But Kings are getting. Hold on, I got a banner. I'm tripping. Let me put my banner on. Let me be professional.
Nice. Look at this.
Golden State -7.5. I personally believe the number's a little bit too high. The Kings are a good road team. They've been in every game for the most part in Golden State. So I feel that they will cover the number, but I still feel Golden State wins the game overall. I just believe Steph Curry at home is just something that you can't step in front of. He loves the momentum of the crowd, especially when he's hitting those threes. And now Klay Thompson has joined the party because he's averaging 5 3-pointers made so far in these playoffs. So if him and Klay Thompson and Steph Curry continue to keep needing these threes, I don't think the Kings will be able to overcome that because they're only shooting 30% from the 3-point line while Golden State's shooting 34%. Now, the Kings have had 3 games where they're shot below 30%, so they're trying to keep up with those shot attempts with Golden State, and I think that's eventually going to hurt them. I believe they should stick to what they know and what they're built to get in the paint. You have Sabonis. You have bodies in the paint that you can score, get easy buckets on Golden State and make them defend. Because if you're sitting there running around trying to match them on the 3-point line, I don't think you're going to win that battle. So just my opinion, I believe the The Kings still cover the 7.5, but I do believe Golden State wins the game. So, Dave, what are your thoughts about tomorrow's matchup?
I'm with you as far as the side. I mean, whether the number's accurate or I kind of even don't. I mean, I think Golden State wins this either way, even if it goes back to Sacramento. Some people from Northern California saying, "Oh, you don't want to come back here." What? I mean, number one, they're in Northern California too. Number two, this is a Kings team. You know, you're talking to 3 or 4 Hall of Famers and a Hall of Fame coach. Yeah. And a coach that played on with one of the best basketball team to ever, be on earth. I mean, the Kings are outmatched. Kudos to them to being there. So, and Sabonis has made himself a borderline superstar. We talked about all that. Thing I like in this is the over. 2 games have scored a lot of points. 3 games have scored a lot of points. 2 haven't in the series, or at least when I say a lot of points has hit this total. I know it's going down. I don't know quite how to attack it. I tend to take full game overs unless I'm compelled by some of your guys' advice. In basketball, I like the game to unravel versus try to take away variables like I do in baseball. So I think I like the full game total over, and I might mix it in with a first quarter or first half over.
Okay. First quarter over as well.
6.5 right now. It's kind of high, but
I mean, they hit 70 the last quarter.
You're right.
I believe that's still in play. It may be right on it, though. It may lose by the hook because it's 60.5, right? It may hit 60. Mm-hmm. So that's usually how it turns out when we're doing this. So, but I'm still comfortable with taking that over first quarter.
Okay.
Yes. I like the thoughts around that first quarter being over. And, from a ball game perspective, what I've noticed thus far is, sorry, I'm just following up there. So what I've noticed is the teams that are winning the game outright are not winning that first quarter. I kind of shared that sentiment. It's kind of a generalization, but I would be reluctant to touch that first quarter at all. I like the fact that the number's gone up to 67.5. A couple thoughts here. So we're seeing, I mentioned these kind of number moves before, right? We're seeing, I forgot the number specifically. I'll pull it up right now. I want to say it was 75% of the cash is pouring in right now on Sacramento Kings. So with all that cash, 59% of the bets, 75% of the cash. Now, granted, there's only 8,280 tickets out there, but the way I kind of dissect that number is I think to myself, the game's not till tomorrow. The line was posted yesterday immediately after that game. What's hitting that early number? Sharp money. And so sharps are coming in and pounding the snot out of the Sacramento Kings at 7.5, and it hasn't budged. So it suggests to me that it's a Golden State spot, although I'm apprehensive because when I kind of dissect the line and I look at the first half, for example, the first half numbers they opened up at, was it 3.5? And it's down to 2.5 on most books. So it kind of scares me that you're right, LJ. I do think it's a spot where it's going to be a battle. And I see a 4.5 open. I can see it all the way down to 2.5. And so anybody that line shops and has access to some of those spots, whenever I notice that I see an oddball line, right? So oddball being that everything across the board is 3.5, 3.5, 3.5. There's a 4. There's 2 more 3.5s, and there's even still a 4.5 out there. Then I see a 2.5. Guess what happens more often than not? You're not getting the deal with the 2.5. You're taking an L on the face. And so are you if you take that 4.5 as well. So it's not necessarily an analytically driven spot, but I do like the Sacramento Kings to cover that first half. And I think the play that I like the most is the third quarter, Golden State Warriors. I think right now you can pregame that line at -1. So you're really taking a blind leap of faith that, that number is moving down because the Sacramento be in position and in contention, and they might even cover that first half. But what happens now come third quarter is you're in a spot where that -1 right now is very much a value play. And by the time tomorrow rolls around, we could very well see a 2.5 at halftime for that third quarter. So I like pregame the Golden State Warriors third quarter -1. And I've also lined up 3 prop plays out there. 2 prop plays that I like right now. Kevon Looney was the first one. When Draymond Green got suspended, it changed the lineup entirely for, the format and the way that they play. And Kevon Looney, opportunity to step up, become that shining star. I like his over 16.5 rebounds and assists. Right now, I saw it. It's around, I guess you got to shop it around a little bit. But I think just his ability to be the big, take those boards off the rebounding end of the court there certainly puts him in contention to probably get maybe 12 rebounds, and then maybe he just gets his 5 assists and we cover that thing. I certainly wouldn't be apprehensive or against breaking it up as well. His last he had 20, 14, and 22 boards in his last 3 games. So his rebound number being set at 16.5 with his assist combo is ridiculous. He's got he's just got a good opportunity, I think, out there. The other one I took is Draymond Green. I like Draymond Green over 9.5 points. That boy comes back. He's going to be salty. He plays with emotion and a chip. And I do like looking at that Draymond Green single-digit points. He's just got to get to 10, and it's plus 105 right now. So I like that spot as well.
Does he continue to keep coming off the bench? Because if he comes off the bench, he's going to be the leading scorer. So
I think
that's okay. So I like it if he continues to come off the bench. That's a great point.
I think what happens is he's so freaking aggressive that, what I noticed with a lot of times is you get these guys that come off. I wouldn't say he's not the Steph Curry of the team. We all know that, right? I mean, he's out there and it's early in the season, but he's fighting guys in practice and so on and so forth. And he's just an aggressive guy. So what do you do with an aggressive guy that's coming off a suspension that you need to carry you over the next, not carry you, but be part of your offense and be productive over the next couple of games? You put the leash on him. You slow him down a little bit just to cool him out and let him settle back into the flow of the game itself. So I wouldn't be surprised to see him come off the bench. And I think that 9.5 points is a good spot at plus money.
Oh, yeah, that's a steal if he comes off the bench. He's going to get double digits easily. So, yeah, I'm with you on all those. And also, I'll add one in. You might as well just continue to ride Steph Curry, 31 points and a half. I mean, he's averaging 33, so what's going to be any different? He's going to have to score. He gets the attempts, and Klay Thompson, he's going to get the 5 threes. So I believe that points will continue to keep scoring, like Dave mentioned. Over is definitely in play, especially if these guys are hitting their shots because they're going to get the attempts. But I just believe the Kings, they're not shooting a great percentage from the 3. So if they come out and continue to keep jacking these threes and not making them, it takes them out of the game, and they continuously have to play catch up. And when you're playing catch up, you're exerting too much energy on defense, and you still have to make stops as well as score. So if Golden State gets up on you 10 or 12 points, it's hard to overcome that because you have to stop them and score at the same time to catch up. And I don't think the Kings are built that way. I believe they're built to play fast, get turnovers, fast break points, and continue to push the pace. That's how they play. Golden State's going to want to slow it down, get in the half court, come off the pick and rolls, dribble penetration, things like that to get points like that. So that's how I see the game unfolding. But I am leaning, like I said, I haven't bet it yet, but I'm leaning Kings plus the 7.5. That's just my thoughts on that one. So any other thoughts on that one before we move on?
Sounds good.
Hey, let's do it. Memphis and the Lakers, guys. Of course, we cashed Memphis last game, which was easy. They're one of the best ATS teams at home. First half full game. So I figured that was a great investment that we invested throughout the year because I continued to keep riding that bet, Memphis first half at home. So I figured yesterday was the last time we were able to cash this because I do believe the Lakers will close it out tomorrow. Let me get my banner up, so I can be professional. That's how we do it on this show. There we go. So Lakers minus 4.5. I do believe they will cover this number. I believe that Anthony Davis is going to dominate in the game. I just believe the crowd. I believe the energy of crypto, as they call it now, the Crip, as they uniquely nickname it. I believe the Lakers, take the game. We all know Memphis is not a great road team, just like Golden State. And I think they're 0. Mike's going to give us the stat, but let me go off my memory. I think Memphis is now 0-17 against the spread in their last. It's something like that. I know it's something like that. I can't get it off, but I know you're going to say it. But just to give the people, I'm leaning towards the Lakers. I've already bet that. I'm going to be transparent and be honest. I've already bet the minus 4.5 in case the number went up, in case, some trickery happened. So I believe that's a good number. I usually don't bet spreads that's over 5. So I think 4.5 is a good number because I believe the Lakers can win by 2 possessions. That's a 3 and a 2. Boom. That's 5 points. Give me that. Lakers win. Like I said, AD has a good game. LeBron flirts with a triple-double. Austin Reeves, PRA, continues to keep cashing. So I suggest we just keep riding that. And for the most part, Lakers move on. So let's start with Mike this time. What you liking in this game?
Yeah, I'm with you. I think it's a Lakers spot. To me, it's I don't know why you would give a guy like LBJ motivation by calling him old, right? I mean, he is old, and there's nothing wrong.
What a dope.
You get smart, and all that Brooks has done since then is nothing. So, so dummy for him. A cautionary for me is I see again. This one's even less with 5,197 tickets, but it opened at -4.5, and we're down to 4. 55% of the bets and 92% of the cash is on the Lakers. I would say with the caveat there that I'm not surprised. It's the Lakers. And, because LeBron kind of they poked the bear a little bit, I almost think it made LeBron a fan favorite to some degree now. So he's already been a fan favorite, but I think now instead of kind of rooting for old man time to kick in and him to fall apart, I think now it kind of gives that renewed vigor that people want to see him get out there and attack. So I do like that a lot. I like LeBron. I'm not against the -4. I do like waiting, in that opportunity, just because I think if it's at 4 right now, can we see it tick down to 3.5? With all that action going on, I'm not sure where we might see the line kind of plateau where it is, but again, I looked at a couple different props for this game. A prop that was out there for FanDuel was Golden State to win the first quarter and Golden State to cover the -4.5 spread. And
no, we're on the Lakers.
I'm sorry, Lakers. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Lakers to win the first quarter money line, and then Lakers to win the full game spread at -4.5, and it was +170. I mean, that seems to me like, I know we talked earlier about the favorites not covering, but I think with this game, it's a little bit different. You've got the motivation in old man time to go out there and kick some ass. And I do think it's an opportunity where he wants to show up early in the playoffs. I think they're going to go deep. I think the Lakers do take it the distance. I've got some future tickets on the Lakers as well. You guys have kind of heard some of my rationale around there. So that being said, for LBJ to cement his legacy, he's got to go big. I like him to get a double-double, and I'm going to sprinkle his triple-double as well to this coming up game. So from a prop perspective, it's let's look at the extracurricular factors here. It's a Friday. He just had shit talked to him. He's been out there balling out right now, and the Lakers are a favorite. So, they're at the Crypt. They're at home. It's Friday night in LA. Things are going to be popping off, and I think LBJ is going to be popping off. So, from a couple of player props, I've kind of become a plus money guy lately as far as kind of tracking and hawking some of those things. And I like the shot with those opportunities because it gives me an opportunity, if it's not going that direction, to hedge and correlate that throughout the game. So a couple spots I'm looking for from a prop perspective.
Hey, love it. Music to my ears, sir, because I kudos all that. LeBron, big night. I agree. Dave, what are you looking at in this game?
Yeah, I'm with you completely. I mean, you look at the Lakers, who were probably the best team in the second half, definitely the most improved team from half to half. And when you look at a championship team, and let's look at these two teams, what has gotten better for Memphis? Everything's gotten worse. They lost Steven Adams. They don't have a big. Dylan Brooks fell off the face of the planet with that stupid haircut. John Morant got caught up. What's up, Moose? John Morant got caught up in that stuff, and it didn't really phase anything, but it was just a distraction. What about the Grizzlies got better? What about the Lakers got better? Well, let me tell you, AD's playing for one. That's the most important guy on that team. His performance is the most important. Austin Reeves came out of nowhere. This goofy-looking white guy is the third option on that team. You got Vanderbilt, who fills a hole with defense, and we know these guys can't play defense or couldn't play defense, still aren't great, but he fills a hole. Then you've got role players like D'Angelo Russell. This is the kind of team the Lakers have taken and won multiple championships with. 2 stars and role players. Look at the 3 that Shaq and Kobe won. Look at the 2 that Powell and Kobe won. Look at this last one in the bubble. You had AD and LeBron clicking, and then they had all those old farts, Marc Gasol and Dwight Howard and all those guys. And you had another goofy-looking white guy too, which I liked, Alex Caruso. But either way, you got a better team. I actually don't care if it goes to Memphis. They're going to win. They'll win this game. It's over tomorrow, in my opinion. I'm definitely taking the Lakers. But the only way you can be so confident in the Grizzlies to win this series at this point is if you're from Memphis or if you're on something.
Yeah, I agree. Because for the most part, I think couple games, the Lakers just let the Grizzlies win. Like they were in the games for the most part, but they have the better size, like we just mentioned. They have the better guard play, I believe. When you take out Ja, Desmond Bay, he does hit threes. But I just believe, far as athletically, I just think the Lakers have too many bodies at the end of the day. But they have to be on the court because Anthony Davis has been tinkering with these injuries, and he's grabbing his hip now, and we don't know what to expect. But I believe that he'll get a shot. And like Mike mentioned, it's Friday night, LA. Nothing else is going on, I don't believe. The Kings are Saturday, right? So, hey, it's all Lakers Friday night. So I believe the house is going to be packed. Energy is going to be in the building. I don't think Memphis is going to be able to overcome it. So, like I said, we cashed the last game in Memphis. So tomorrow, we're cashing in LA. Lakers minus the 4.5. And I am with Mike all the way. LeBron double-double, of course. And I'm going to sprinkle the triple-double as well. And like I said, Caruso, not Caruso. Who put Caruso?
I put that in your head.
Who put Caruso? Austin Reeves, PRA. Yeah. No doubt is what I'm going to continue to keep cashing because he's been hitting it for the most part the whole playoffs. So shout out to Moose, man. For real. Funny. Gotta get back on the stream, Moose, for real.
His logo there is a little goofy looking, but outside of that, that's a good dude right there.
Yeah, Moose.
Hey, LJ, I'll share a couple other thoughts there. So the LeBron James double-doubles minus 145, and I like to cue in and really narrow down when there's only a few games, and at this point, one game left on the card. I think there's an opportunity to throw some bombs. Now, they don't have to be full unit bombs, right? So we've gone through quite a few of these live streams. You guys have seen we've hit some plus 1200s, plus 2,000, plus 3,000s. And, I always like to try to play from a bankroll management. I'm not going to preach bankroll management. I'm not that guy, right? I look at I'll take a whack and try to really step on something. But I always try to play the winning unit. So instead of going out there and really firing down on these things, first and foremost, LBJ's double-doubles minus 145, right? Books are saying that he's going to get that double-double. His triple-double soars to plus 1,300. I mean, that's a huge opportunity to take that little sprinkle, and it doesn't even have to be the full unit that you might win if he hits that double-double. But here's a couple other thoughts. So some light reading that I had earlier. I mean, these are super lightning bets in terms of lightning bets. But for those guys that like the first field goals and first basket opportunities, here's a couple of stats that I'll regurgitate to you guys. So it looks like Jaren Jackson's going to be taking on Anthony Davis, and Jaren Jackson's opening tip rate win is 74%. He's won 5 of 7 opening tips against Anthony Davis this season. For me, that says this dude's winning the opening tip. When I look at that situation, I see who are the two guys that have gone out there and carried the team. It's Morant and Bain. So, they're combining. It's looking like 60 points a game is what I'm reading here. And from a Morant perspective, Morant to get the first field goal, assuming obviously that Jackson's going to come out and win this thing, Morant to get the first field goal of the game is plus 750. And then Desmond Bain to get the first basket in general is plus 1,000. So, we're looking at guys that have a high probability, 5 of the last 7 specifically against Anthony Davis. Jaren Jackson owns that guy in the opening tip. The only caveat that scares me is what if Anthony Davis slips and falls on his way into the actual game itself and he becomes a scratch pregame. If that happens, then these props kind of fall out the window. But hell, man, taking a shot there for an opportunity on Morant and Desmond Bain to get either the first field goal or the first basket at huge numbers like that makes it a little fun. It's not quite the coin flip and the Super Bowl prop that you're looking at, but why not take a shot? Even if it's just for a couple of bucks and have some fun on it. You can buy yourself a couple of beers with that thing if it comes through. So Morant to get the first field goal at plus 750. Desmond Bain, the first basket altogether at plus 1,000. I think there's some good opportunities. The risk reward, obviously, and risk adverse will stay away, but you'll see me sprinkle those things. I think it's a good look.
Hey, I like that. Now, side note, Mike, I do believe the Chargers are up right now. They got 5 minutes left to pick, and they're showing a receiver that's on the board.
Oh, boy!
Ohio State receiver.
This is the guy that I wanted the Eagles to take, though. The Eagles actually sent him through extra workouts as well and brought him back into town for a dinner. I mean, He's Ohio State though. We don't see a lot of Ohio State guys. At least I don't see a lot of Ohio State guys pan. I mean, there's those exceptions that are out there, but yeah, let's see him take this wide receiver. Let's see if we can cash both these.
I want you to cash
that. What odds do you have?
He was plus 125 when I took him earlier this week. So I'm not sure what he's at right now, but they really are showing it, aren't they, LJ? It's just wide receiver, wide receiver.
That's what I'm
saying. It's the same guy.
I want you to
Gritty
cash
out
this,
there. This Gritty's a little suspect, but he looks like a baller. There he goes. Is that him?
No, that's Seattle's pick before. That's the guy. That's the guy Seattle picked. The Chargers are next.
Oh yeah. You're right.
So we'll see. Back-to-back receivers get picked. But yeah,
there was another sneaky prop I had that was over 3.5 wide receivers to get drafted in the first round. The odds weren't great on it, but it was something that I threw out there just because I figured the later part of the round was the league has changed, right? The league is morphing into more of a pass-driven league right now, and this draft's kind of upside down. We saw a bunch of quarterbacks go early, ton of Bama guys going off the board, and we're seeing now it's a stacked running back draft. 2 running backs have already been drafted, so it doesn't surprise me to see wide receivers going. If you can get that live, I'd take a look at it. My book doesn't have live draft props, but certainly something I wouldn't shy away from.
No doubt, no diggity. But back to that Lakers, yeah, man, we're all in line in that one. We believe that the Lakers will have no business tonight, take care of Memphis, and be waiting for the Kings and Warriors, whoever wins that matchup. So, they do need rest, so they should be motivated to end this tomorrow and get some rest. Hopefully, the Kings and Warriors can go Game 7. I wouldn't be surprised if it does. So hopefully the Lakers get lucky, get some extra days of rest. Who knows? But we'll see what happens. 113. Jaylen Brown just cashed a 3, tied the game up.
I see that. There's a minus 140 money line right now for the Boston Celtics. Take that 7.5 points out the door and just grab that money line at minus 140. Seems like a nice little spot.
All right. We'll see.
Just trying to pull up.
All right. The pick is in, Mike. The pick is in. Here we go. Are they going to draft this receiver, man? That'll be awesome if you cash this. I believe you will, because they were showing the tape for a reason. So I believe
they were all over the tape. I mean, that was the highlight reel for that.
Yeah, they say he's the best player on the board right now.
All the Chargers receivers were hurt at the end of the year. So I mean, not that matters so much. Yeah, it is every year.
I remember a few years back, and the advantage of playing fantasy football is you start to see some of these things happen in advance. And I remember when Keenan Allen first came in the league, and he was the backup. I forgot he was the backup too, but he was like the number 2 wide receiver, and I was doing my damnedest to get him because I was like, this guy's a beast. Let me pick him up, and I finally got him. The guy played hardball to draft with me or trade with me, and then he got hurt, and he was hurt. He's hurt. Every year somebody's hurt in the wide receiver core for those guys. So you can't have enough of them in a league that's pass heavy, especially when you've got Herbert as the guy that's out there throwing the ball. Who's he going to throw it to? The coaches? He's got to do something. So here we go. Pick is in. You guys are probably ahead of me, so
yeah, we are.
I'm not watching the draft. I don't care.
Yeah, I'm ahead of you right now.
This is a disappointing draft. I think the players are going to be disappointing. At least the ones that they're talking about. You don't draft running backs in the first top 10 picks. I'm sorry, Bijan Robinson's a stud. Never pans out. Anyone is better at quarterback. Houston needed someone breathing. And Bryce Young has the skill and the mental ability, does not have the size. We see these short quarterbacks. What happens? There's been 2, Drew Brees and Russell Wilson. This guy's shorter than both of them. CJ Stroud doesn't have the football IQ, and Richardson is a big question mark.
Mike, you cashed it. Wide receiver Quentin Johnson goes to the Chargers. Man,
thank you very much.
Bro,
thank you very much.
Good shit.
I'll tell you what, it's been a plus money run. I know I was texting you earlier about it there, but we hit our Dawson Mercer, goal scoring prop. We hit our shots on goal prop with Victor Hedman, or point prop. The Richardson plus 300 prop. It's been a good run this past week, specifically, of some really plus money props out there. It makes it fun. It's just a little something to do. You're not going to get rich off them, but it makes it fun. It keeps you interested. So
I wanted to ask you this. Do you do this professionally? Like, do you work or you just bet?
I work on these bookies, you know.
Hey, man, I love it. I admire it, bro, because I am trying to get where you are at, and it's not going to take me long, you know. But I am striving to be a professional to where I can do this for a living. I can sit at home, look at these numbers, and just make money, man. Believe me, because you know, ain't nothing like. No, go continue.
I was going to say, the more you do it, it's like anything else, right? You're entrenching yourself in it. But you know, the cool part about it, though, is, you know, we build a network, right? We've got guys like ourselves that get together and we'll share looks with each other and opportunities. And so, you know, you spend a lot of time doing it, and it's sometimes a grind, but it's always nice when you've got guys that you trust that work just as hard as you to find spots and opportunities. And I know if you guys are sharing a spot, that you're not just throwing a dart at a board and hoping it sticks and then telling all your buddies about it. I mean, we've all got friends that are like that, right? That are on the amateur side of things, and they're just doing it to have fun. But you know, it's and then they'll tell you about how great the play is for a day or two or three, and then it comes down to it, and it's not even close. So, you know, as you build the network, that's where it gets real, man. That's where
it's not like go ahead. Sorry. No, I was going to say it's not like we're not only just telling ourselves, but we're posting it on Twitter with millions of people and putting it on YouTube. So this isn't throwing darts. That's for fucking sure.
Yeah. And it's not for the weak, because I tell many of my colleagues or people that I associate with, you have to have thick skin doing this, because the normal person would bet. If they lose, they get mad, they jump off, they say, I'm never betting again. Those are recreational bettors that just want to, you know, dibble and dabble. You know, if you really want to do this like me, you have to invest in this. It's just like any business. It's just like any stock. You have to have a bankroll to where you know that you're going to put towards this and just see how it goes. Because like I said, I'm a situational bettor. I don't gamble every day. I took off today. You know what I'm saying? Because I have discipline enough to pick my spots, because I learned a lot last year and I've learned this year. Because to be honest with you, last year was just meeting everybody, getting the feel of how this goes. This year was earning y'all's respect, to show y'all that I can be a part of this and do this as well and contribute. You know, I'm not a selfish person. I don't keep it to myself. I want all of us to catch. So I'm continuously giving y'all plays. You know, we're doing it back and forth. So that's what this year was about. Next year, it's about me getting into it for real, because I'm going to be disciplined enough to save a lot of my income with my job. And I'm going to take off for a period of time next year just to see how I do. Because I believe if I can have the time to do this, I could be more efficient. Because doing this with a full-time job, you're missing things, you're overlooking it, you're rushing, you're pressing. You know, it's just a lot of factors go into where you can't really get it successfully as if you could just be there at home, engaged in the whole process. So like I said, I can't pay every book. I only can pay a couple of books because it's not legal in Texas. Just think if I was in a state that had legal sports betting. I could be all over the place and get my money more of a value, but I got to settle for a minus 120 when I could go shop for a minus 110. You know what I'm saying? It's just those type of things affect your ROI and things like that. So it's just about being disciplined, man. And like I said, you got to have thick skin, because you're going to go on a losing streak. It's going to happen. They don't win every bet. Like I was arguing with my friend on the phone the other day. He's like, man, I took Capella rebounds and he didn't hit it. I don't understand why these guys don't do what they're paid to do. And I'm like, what do you mean? They pay him $1 million to rebound. I was like, no, they don't. That's just something that he does as his average, but he also scores. He does other things. He's like, no, man, when I bet his rebound prop, he needs to hit it. I'm like, but what if he hits it the next night? It don't matter. I didn't bet it that night. I'm like, well, that's why you couldn't do this professionally, because you're worried about that one bet that you lost. You get what I'm saying? So I just tell people, man, it's not for everybody. But it's in the beginning stages, as we all know. We're still doing this, getting our nicks and knacks in as well. So
the big thing
it's
is
just all
tracking,
about
right? So the guys that track are the guys
Yeah.
that you can tell are the guys that take it serious. I mean, I echo exactly what you say. You're going to get out of it what you put into it, and that goes with
Yes.
anything in life, but specifically when it comes to trying to earn cash. And we were talking with some guys the other day about their records and how they track, and do you look at it? And it's important to take the time to look at it, because just because you feel like you're winning in some spots doesn't mean you are. And assessing and analyzing, opened my eyes to sports that I'm not a fan of certain sports, and we don't need to get into all of that, but I find that I do well in them. And maybe it's because I'm not such a big fan of them and I don't have the depth of player knowledge that I can easily analyze the X and the O's and the data. But analyzing the numbers is key, because I don't want to lose on the same thing 15, 20 times. I want to find a spot where I know I can win. And then that's when it becomes fun. Is like, why am I taking a shot on, Saudi Arabian beach soccer when I know I do well in, the KBO or Major League Baseball, right? Or first fives versus full games. So you guys get it. You guys know how it works. You guys are all in the same
100%.
thing. So it's finding those angles and then working away at them and making it profitable for you.
So Dave, what could you give some advice of what you've learned and how you approach it for us, the sports betting?
So it's funny you said that. Nick, he's in film school, and he did a documentary, and he interviewed some of us. And one of his questions was, "What do you tell beginning sports gamblers?" And I probably have two. I mean, first of all, you can make it as kind of what Mike said. You get in what you put into it. And we put in a lot, so it's really complicated. We do multiple sports. I would never, ever, ever ask for someone to jump in and kind of tackle what we do, and just because we have experience. But when I started capping, I've been gambling, sports gambling, and all sorts of gambling, and doing other advantage play stuff since I was too young to gamble.
Yeah.
My grandpa taught me how to play cards on a fishing trip when I was 6 years old on the center console when he was driving.
Wow.
But when I started capping, I picked one sport. I picked the one I like to watch the most, the NFL, which isn't my favorite to win money in, but I picked that, and I came up with a single way to bet it, my system, and it grew from there. So my first advice is don't come up with the system, be ready to track your bets, be ready to do the work, but don't make it too complicated in the beginning. The next one, something I didn't have then that you have now, is watch all of this YouTube stuff and this Twitter stuff and determine who's legit and who isn't. And but you have all of this material and content at your beck and call. And anytime you pop in, you're in bed, you're on the shitter, you're doing that. You should be watching and making your own system and thought process and opinion. So watch YouTube, watch any, or be involved with content for sports betting. And when you start, make it simple. And if you're into it and you aren't keeping track of at least your record specifically every day in the long run, not just posting a daily record, then you're not doing it right and you're probably losing money.
Yeah. Yes, I agree, man. And like I said, a lot of my friends, they give me money to bet. Some of them say, "Hey, do what you do." Some of them, they be like, "Hey, man, bet this." And I'd be like, let's talk about it, man. I don't want you, just to throw your money away. I want you to make a logical decision, But, some people just go on what they feel, and, hey, it's your money. Hey, you can bet it. You lose it. Don't get mad at me. Some of them, they, for the most part, they don't. I don't mess with immature people that get mad when they lose. They just be like, "Hey, man, I'm gonna fight another day." But like I said, I'm more of a, like I said, situation. I don't just gamble like that. I look at, like Mike, for instance. Mike looks at the trend. He looks at the situation. You see if it lines up, and you look at where the money's going. All those things factor in. So you have to be able to make a logical statistical data in order to back up your play. And that's what I try to do most of the time. Sometimes I stay off. Even if the number looks good, I'll stay off, just because I want to see. Because it's about watching it too. A lot of times you can't watch these games, but you got to catch a couple of glimpses. Also, this is another important thing I want to mention. Listening to the announcers, because they be having records and streaks and things that you can't look up. For example, Simeon for the Rangers, He's on a 17-game hitting streak in Minute Maid Park. Now, how can I ever look that up? Like, can I go to Google or whatever they do and put in Simeon versus Minute Maid Park? Like, can I do that? Or can I just look at the game, listen to the announcers that give you little tidbits that you can write down and use for your capping?
There is a site to do that, but it's I think it's baseball stats or stats. There is one, but you wouldn't know to do it unless you did a deep dive. So you're right.
Yeah, see what I'm saying? Yeah. Sometimes what I'm getting is that some of the people do the research for you. They give you the information for you. You just gotta be listening.
You guys do a lot of my research for me. I listen to you guys, and
no, seriously, and I do it too. Like I say, I'm always on whoever I am confident and know, because you got to understand, you have to believe in it too. A lot of these guys, I don't believe they believe in what they're saying. You know, so I think it's just for show. I can pick the ones that actually believe, like passionate about what they're doing, like y'all got. Y'all are passionate because y'all put the time and effort into this. So I believe I'm going to tell y'all because I know how much of research and passion that y'all have backing this up, especially Mike. You know, you come with the trend. I'm like, Mike, every day I text you, what's the new trend, Mike? You know what I'm saying? Give me something, because I don't want to have to go into this data. And, you know, like I said, I'm working, you know, I'm driving my truck on my phone. You know, I'm doing all type of stuff, trying to find any type of edge and angle I can find to come to my decision. But I use y'all, man, for real, because it helps me. And like I said, I've learned so much. So next year, I'm going to be prepared, man, to deep dive into this, to see if I can do this professionally, you know. And my dream was just to be moved to Vegas for a year and see what I can do, you know, see what I can do. But hey, you know, that's a dream of mine. You know, maybe it'll come to fruition. I still have a son that's in high school, so he has 2 years. So hey, we'll see what happens. Or they'll make it legal in Texas, but hey, I doubt it. But hey, let's get to this game, man. 126-120, 19 seconds left. Atlanta has the ball. Now, the spread was 7, right? +7 was the closing line of this game. So let's see if the Hawks can cover this. I have a friend that's on the Hawks covering, you know, so let's see if he can cash this.
It is right down to it. That's for sure. I'll tell you that parlay. So Vegas went up early. Vegas is up. Yankees won. So I think that's creative. Trying to find some of those big spots that are, you know, we talked earlier today on Jimmy's show there about closing line value and taking spots early versus later. I'm not a take the spot overnight type of guy. I like to kind of watch how things percolate and mature over the course of the day as the market starts to move. Just no different than a stock or anything else. But some guys are different, and you got to go with what works for you. If it gets too high, you got to throw it together in a parlay. You know, the Yankees, you know, I joked about the hip to be square spot today with Ohtani and the Yankees, but come on, right? I mean, it's Ohtani, and, you know, he's at a -300. I'm not going to lay a -300 for anybody. And then I see the Yankees at, you know, -180 or -185 or wherever it was that it closed. I took them at -1 at I think -135 or -140. But, you know, parlay the two together turns into plus money. Parlay those two with Vegas Golden Knights, who are a -185, you're looking at +200. And then you add a Boston Celtics money line to it, you're almost +300. It's a 4-team spot, but, you know, looks good, feels good, smells good. Go after it, you know.
Hey,
then you don't have to worry about the points. Although last night was a tough spot with the Bucks, man. Holy cow.
Yeah, I'm glad I wasn't on them either. I'm so happy I didn't bet them.
We were on I had a money line tied to a couple of spots, and we were in a live stream, Dave and I, and I remember saying with like 2 seconds left, I was like, it's plus 1,000 to take the other side. I mean, take the heat. You almost have to, and I didn't. I was just being facetious. But
how many minutes was left in the game?
There was like 3 seconds left in the game.
Oh, for real? And it was plus 1,000? Oh,
wow! They were down like.
Points, Dave? That's when Jimmy Butler hit that lob to go into overtime. Yeah. Wow. See, those type of things you have to be on it, because I was unfortunate enough to walk off a stream that these guys cashed a plus 1,000 versus Jacksonville in the playoffs, because I was so pissed that they were losing at halftime because I took them in the first half. So I've learned my lesson on that one. Never leave a stream to the game. So if you have money on it, you know what I'm saying?
If you got money on it.
So yeah, man, that was good. I'm waiting for these 18 seconds left before we talk about this last game. I want to talk about the Suns in Denver, but I want to see how this game pans out. I don't want to stop talking, when they inbound the ball, we get distracted. So I'm just waiting for, a couple of minutes, buy some time, we can talk.
Sure.
What about baseball, man? Do y'all have any look aheads for tomorrow in MLB?
I haven't started capping it at all. I mean, we can since we got a couple minutes.
I'm going to be on the Astros. Coming back home versus the Phillies. Framber Valdez is on the mound. I'm taking the Astros.
I like Framber. He's having a nice season. He's been having a nice couple of seasons, and it's early enough in the season too that it's kind of plays to his advantage, I think. So I like a Framber spot tomorrow for sure.
He's our best pitcher. Besides, we got McCullers that's still hurt, but if I had to put my money, I would put Framber as our best pitcher.
What are the Yankees doing, a bullpen day or something tomorrow? I guess they got Schmidt out there, and Schmidt's no good. But, man, the Yankees right now are looking at a plus 175.
Because they got DeGrom, the Rangers, the GOAT.
I mean, DeGrom might be the GOAT, but he's not Jesus Christ. I think it's a situation where the guy can easily get touched, and it's the Yankees, man. It's the Yankees. You're foregoing stacks, even if it is the Yankees. There's still enough. I don't know. To me, it's the Rangers right now have lost 4 straight. I mean, they just came back from 3 at Cincinnati where every one of those Cincinnati losses whacked me each time. So maybe I'm just anti-Texas right now, but I had him the first game figuring since he came out of Pittsburgh, and then they blew that lead at the end. The second day, I'm like, well, they just blew a lead at the end. They're hitting him well. There's no way they're going to do it again. They blew a lead at the end. And then they played that third game, and they just got behind and never could catch back up, and it was a 5-3 finish. And then they lost again today, 4-2. So they're losing by the run line. I mean, shit. DeGrom or not, I'm taking the Yankees at plus 175. And I might even let me see what the spread line looks like here. The spread's sitting at minus 125. This might be a ladder spot where I take the Yankees plus 1.5. I take the Yankees money line, and then I might even look at the Yankees. In fact, I'll look at it right now.
Team total over.
Yankees. I don't mess around with a lot of the team totals. I could see the total going over though for sure. I mean, DeGrom seems to like to give him up early, right? He'll like in the first inning. Then once he gets motoring, he's rolling. So,
yeah.
I kind of look at that, but I'm looking at. I don't see a reverse line yet, but I would even look at the Yankees reverse.
All right, update on the game. Celtics 128-120. 13 seconds left. Atlanta has the ball. They're bringing it up the court. They trap Trae Young at half court. He passes it up. Oh, they steal it. They steal it, ladies and gentlemen. Boston covers the spread. 128-120. Wow. But hey, I told my friend, I gave him your trend, Mike. I sent it to him. I said, hey, this is a Boston situation. He's like, man, you got to think about the motivation of Atlanta. Elimination game at home. I'm like, hey, bro, I get it. But Boston is the better team at the end of the day. Now, I'm not going to bet it because I don't like Boston. But I gave him your trend, Mike. I let him make his decision. He took the Hawks plus the 7. But, hey, it was 1 point. So, hey, it's not like they got blew out. Yeah, so
the thing I look at with those trends a lot of times too is the margin of victory, right? So when you see the points per game that they're covering by, that's a lot of times is an indicator if you're late to the market or you can still take advantage of it. So, tricky spots, man. I mean, they don't always win, right? We all know that the trends are
of course
they're printed on, but
it's sharp.
And I said this earlier today to somebody that it takes into account, in my opinion, the new style of the NBA, and I say the new style because I feel like. I've said this before, the NBA Players Association is the highest at stake association. They've got the most skin of any of the associations in terms of revenue share, and they want everybody to get paid. I know every Players Association wants everyone to get paid, but I think these guys signed these $180 million super, triple, quadruple, mega max deals, and then they're coming out. And when they take 20 games off over the course of the season, those other guys are stepping up and they're balling out. So they're trying to get paid. Then they get traded and they go somewhere else and they sign a max deal and then they're getting paid. So I think it's all contrived, and the trends and those trends that I'm pulling up a lot lately focus on how has this number looked over period of time. And the more numbers you have behind it, obviously, the better luck or likelihood the trend is to hit. So, you take out of a lot of that emotion. You take out a lot of your opinion or subjective thoughts around how a game's going to turn out, because there's a number behind it. And to your point, how does that number correlate with other spots that you're looking at? And if they all line up, all the boxes check, fire away.
Yeah, man, I agree. All right, guys, let's jump into this last game I want to talk about. Boston took care of business, so we can move on from that. Suns and Denver. Now, when I broke this game down, full disclosure, I have the Suns going to the Western Conference Finals just because I think Kevin Durant is the X factor on their team. Denver, I believe that they are handicapped with Jokic too much. He leads the whole team in every category. So if you take him away, let's say, for instance, he gets in foul trouble. He can't be effective. He goes to the bench. How is Denver going to make up all that usage rate on the rebounds, on the assists, and the points? Because he's averaging a triple-double in the playoffs right now. So that lets you know that he has to be in the game and he has to get everybody else involved, because obviously the offense runs through him because he leads every category for the most part. So when I broke it down, this is what I came up with. Denver is +5 in points in the playoffs over the Suns. So that could be the key. If they can control the paint, get the offensive rebounds, which we know that Suns, they have trouble grabbing the rebound in the show versus the Clippers. So if Denver can control the boards and score in the paint, I believe that they could give the Suns trouble, because the Suns are a perimeter team. They love the jump shooting. They're real streaky at times. So I believe that if Denver can control the paint and get the boards, they will have a chance to win the series. But I just believe that the fact that I see that the free throw discrepancy, Denver is only averaging 17 free throws made on 21 attempts. The Suns are averaging 24 free throws made on 29 attempts. So that means that they're getting to the foul line, which means what? They're getting the fouls. So if they could get Denver in foul trouble, get into the penalty early in the game, and get those easy opportunities at the free throw line, the Suns should be able to win this series, because I believe they have the more firepower. We know Devin Booker, he's averaging 37 in the playoffs right now. He's shooting 46% from the three. Kevin Durant's averaging 28 points. He's shooting 46% from the three. So they're having good efficiency on the court. And free throws, as I mentioned. Kevin Durant has 10 plus 3 free throws made, 3 out of his last 5. Booker's has 6. So that's 16 free throws made between two players on the court. So that's 16 extra points right there when the clock is stopped. So that's how I believe that the Suns are going to take advantage of this series. And I've already put it in. I bet it 4-1. The Suns win 4-1. I've already bet it. So I'm confident enough that they will have enough firepower to overcome Denver and knock them out of the playoffs. So, Mike, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, that's great analysis, man. I think that's I love that points detailed analysis behind it as well. I kind of looked at it from the macro level, because it's still not until Saturday, and a lot of the trends that I see won't necessarily formulate until we start to see lines posted. And then a lot of the algorithms will look at how the lines are moving and then correlate those to a lot of the kind of advanced analytics behind the scenes. So there's a lot of moving parts to it. What I did say I wanted to start doing more of, and I'm going to start specifically with this series, because my overall opinion when I look at the Suns team particularly is we haven't seen this Suns team. I mean, we saw them for a handful of games all season. And, it's a different squad entirely. There's been more time for the Lakers to gel together than there has been for the Suns to gel together. So, again, we're at maybe a dozen games with these guys. Something that kind of stood out at me specifically was the Suns, as far as winning the series, is priced around -145 right now. So the books are suggesting, even though the Nuggets have home court, the Suns are going to win. And to me, that seems like it's an opportunity where they're going to have to take one of those particular games overall. I see that the Nuggets to win the series the Nuggets plus 1.5, and the series pricing is minus 155. What that means is that has to go to either the Nuggets have to win the series or it has to go to a game 7 to cover that spread. I don't think we're going to see a 7. I don't think the books have a good uniform opinion on where to put this number yet. And that doesn't mean they won't, but the series pricing that I like and what I'm getting at here is the series total is an over under is 5.5. It's minus 200 to the over, right? So they're suggesting it's going to go at least 6. And we're seeing the Nuggets at plus 1.5 is minus 155, meaning it has to go 7. I'm going to slide right in the middle there. The series price to go 6 games, doesn't matter who wins, just the exact series price for 6 games is plus 175. So I'm going to start there with this particular series with the Suns Nuggets spot. I like it to go 6, whether it be 4-2 and one side or the other. It doesn't make a difference for me. And I'm going to be loading up Suns. I'll probably play the Suns, probably every game of the series, some way, shape, or form. I'm just not a big Nuggets fan. I know they got some dudes and they're doing their thing and everything else, but I like that series to go 6 plus 175, and it opens up a ton of hedge opportunities. So again, I've been talking about it. I've been talking about doing it in baseball. I've been talking about maybe trying to do it in hockey for my mental health, because I get so pissed off and frustrated when I'm watching game by game. In the NBA, in a series like this, I can take a step back. I don't care per se who wins it, but obviously I want to try to get that plus money. So I'm going to lock in that series goes 6 games at plus 175. And then as we get closer and some numbers start to kind of line up, I'll dive in and play it a little bit more.
All right, sounds good. Dave, what are you thinking in this series?
I'm with you guys too. I mean, I've been saying it for months. It's the was Suns and the Bucks, so I have a chance at still going 50-50. But if you look at the Nuggets, who are a good team, who are a well-rounded team, there's not many matchups that are bad or teams that have enough on their team to deal with Joker and then deal with everyone else. Well, guess who the perfect team for that is? The Suns. I mean, there's going to be intriguing matchups. Like, who guards Durant? It's probably going to be Gordon, who's a better defender. Porter Jr. is taller and longer, but his defense has been shit. And Joker could guard him too. But all the matchups really don't matter, because if you go one by one, right? You have Joker, you have Gordon, you've got Murray, you've got Porter. On the other side, you've got Chris Paul, you've got Booker, you've got Ayton, you've got Durant. They both have dudes. But to me, it boils down to this. And everything has to go off. If the Suns, Ayton doesn't contribute, definitely if Durant or Booker don't do their thing, they lose, because Joker will take it over. But how many championships does Joker have? What does Kevin Durant? And by the way, Kevin Durant has an MVP too. We forget about that. It was a long time ago and 2, 3, 4 teams ago. But people don't respect Durant, and Durant's one of the best players of all time. He was a Rookie of the Year. He went to the finals early in his career. He won an MVP. He's won 2 finals MVPs. And the only thing, and Mike doesn't like him for this, and I respect his opinion about it, because there's a lot of what I call I shouldn't say that word because it's not my channel, but mental small people that don't have balls, essentially, like Kawhi Leonard. I lost my track of thought because I was going to say a word I shouldn't say. Okay. So Durant doesn't want to be a leader, like a lot of other people don't. That's fine. But he tells you he doesn't want to be a leader. He tells the press he doesn't want to be a leader. He's transparent. He basically says, I'm the guy that wants to go to that team and be the sniper in the playoffs. I'm the Joker in the playoffs. I'm the Giannis in the playoffs. That's Ben Durant. So will he do it this time? I don't know. But if I'm putting my money, which is what we do, on if we're basing it around the star player, I don't care about triple doubles and all that shit. Going with the Suns, and I probably will bet them every game, just like Mike.
I hear your situation, and we debate this probably
every show,
the best of all time. What was the number one reason KD left Golden State? Right, he wanted to be the superstar and shine, and it was Steph's team, and he wanted to be that leader in that role. Can't have it both ways, dude. You can't go to 6 different teams and not be the leader if that's why you want to be it just doesn't add up to me. It's just it's to your point, it's mental fortitude and lack thereof. And if the team's winning and he's doing great, he got no problem taking all the credit for it. but you can't command a $185 million contract and tell everyone how great you are. And he's great. He's great in his own accord, but it doesn't, I don't know. It doesn't work.
Let me ask you one question. If the Suns go to the finals, is it worth it then? Do you think it'd be worth it then?
For KD?
Yeah, to pay him that money.
I don't think it's not worth KD. I do think he's a value-added player. I just don't agree with the way he goes about his business. And
I got you.
It's $180 million bucks. You better have your ass out there in the community. You better be doing some things for charity. You better be out there as a role model for young athletes and getting yourself to schools to be able to speak to the youth and help them grow and mature and develop as responsible adults. It's a full circle environment, and you can't just sit back on the couch picking up $180 million with a fucking busted knee, sitting there saying, I'm going to play next year. Like I don't buy it. I'm not buying it. They didn't buy it in New York. They got his ass out of there quick. New York's a tough city. And, he was fine, and he couldn't get it done in OKC. He needed Steph and the boys to help him get there in Golden State. And then after he got there, he wasn't happy that he wasn't getting all the recognition. Well, you got to do all the other things to get the recognition, man.
That was by the way, the Thunder was the Thunder's fault. They didn't let that recipe marinate long enough with Paul George, Westbrook, and Durant. They picked sides right away, and I think it had to do with money. But that team could have won a championship in a couple years if they would have stayed together, I think.
Yeah.
And Harden was on the freaking team too, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
But
didn't he leave early? Didn't he leave before the season was over?
It wasn't all perfectly. I'm just saying, even if Harden wasn't there, they had a bunch. All the stars on all the teams for the past 6 or 7 years were all on that Thunder team.
Yeah. Excuse me. But at the end of the day, I just think Denver's handicapped with Jokic, and I think it's going to show in this series because the simple fact that the Suns are now putting pressure on those referees to make those calls, they're getting the free throw attempts. I believe that they're going to get the Nuggets in foul trouble, and it really doesn't matter. They're like, just get Gordon or Jokic in foul trouble. One of those two is going to hamper Denver because those are the two that crashes the boards for the most part. Once you start getting to Denver's bench, they only have Bruce Brown. Granted, everybody keeps saying the Suns bench doesn't have depth, but that's up to Monty to manage those minutes because the starters are playing 40 minutes a game for the most part. I think Chris Paul's playing averaging like 36 or 37. So as long as Monty can have one of those guys on the bench getting rest, because you can't have all the starters on the bench. A star is going to have to stay on the court with the bench. Booker, Durant, somebody's going to have to run with them, but that lets you get Ayton some rest, Paul some rest. Just switch them out. However rotation you got to do, Monty. Just manage the minutes enough for these guys to finish the game. Because as you can see, once they get hot, they get hot. So, and the Suns, like I said, they play down. Like if they could be down at halftime and come back and blitz you for 67 points in the second half. That's just how they play. So I think they like being challenged for some reason. It's just they got two dogs on their team that loves the competition, So I believe they're ready for this. I believe that people have been hyping up Denver all season, and I believe it's going to show the lack of depth that they have considering their handicap with one player. Now, these are the props that I'm looking for with the Suns. I'm going to take Booker's 40 PRA. He's averaging a 48 right now, averaging 37 points. Even if that drops to 30 points, even if you take off those 7 points, he still cashes that 40 PRA because he's averaging 37, 5, and 6. So that gives you that 40. So I'm going to stay on that until he shows me he can't hit that. I'm taking Durant over points and rebounds at 34.5 because he's averaging 37 points and rebounds. And since he's come to the Suns, he's had 7+ rebounds in pretty much every game. If not every game, he might have missed it by 6, but he's averaging 7 rebounds since he's came to this team. So the points are going to be there. He's going to have to rebound the ball as well because it's going to have to be a collective effort for the Suns to get these boards because they have to rebound. They showed in the Clippers that they give them trouble with those bodies. Now, I believe they can do it with Denver because, like I say, I think they're limited with the bodies as well. So I'm taking Durant's points and rebounds, 34.5. I'm taking DeAndre Ayton's double-double because he's going to have to average that in this series. He averaged it the last series. He's going to have to continue to get double-double rebounds and points. I think Chris Paul feeding him inside, he should cash those points. Now, the rebounds is going to have to be an effort standpoint on him. He's going to have to show to be aggressive and go get the board, especially offensive rebounds to get extra possession and second chance points. I believe that he could be effective in that way. And last, I'm going to take Chris Paul's 6 rebounds. I think they have it at over 3.5 right now. That is too low because, like I just mentioned, they are a collective effort in order to rebound. Chris Paul is going to be in that paint getting the rebounds. So he's averaging 6 right now in the playoffs. And I believe they have it at 3.5. Let me check one more time. I just had it pulled up. I want to make sure I have it accurate for the people. Chris Paul, over 4.5 rebounds. So he has to get 5. So yeah, he's averaging 6. So I'm going to take that over 4.5 rebounds as well. So those are my props for this game. I have the Suns winning the series. Now, I did take Denver to win the first game because they are at home, game 1. Like I said, the Suns are a fill-out team. They usually have to fill you out and see how they're going to adjust to you towards the end of the game. And I think Denver can get game 1. So I bet exact series outcome. The Nuggets series win game 1, but the Suns win the series at plus 275. And I took exact series outcome, Nuggets versus the Suns, series correct score, Suns win 4-1 plus 650. Those are my 2 bets right now to start off this series. So
I like that a lot. I'm going to write that down.
So those are my thoughts, man. And I'm very interested in watching it. And hey, I say we cash, man, for the most part. Let's get this money. And like I say, I'm going to be betting individual game as well. But just to start off, I see the Suns winning the series 4-1, going to the Western Conference Finals. And hopefully the Lakers and Golden State can be a good matchup towards the Western Conference Finals. So those are my thoughts, guys. Any other thoughts y'all have on the series? Any other things y'all want to talk about?
I think that sounds good, man. I think those are some, I like those plus money spots, and I like it. I like taking those. I like taking those shots, right? Because you don't need a lot of them. You don't have to bet heavy, and if you hit one of them, it's like winning 2 or 3 or 4 or 6 in some of those cases. So I like it, man. Good luck to you, and I'll probably look to kind of tail some of those in some way, shape, or form as well as the series gets closer to going.
Hey, let's do it, man. So, how's y'all night looking towards the end? What we end up with, Dave?
On the day, I won back everything that I had won before.
Mm-hmm.
So, off of, I don't know, I had 13 bets before. I only posted, I only post 3 to 5. I had 13 bets before. Around 20 bets, I'm up 4.5 units. That's not bad.
Hey, you're up, man. It's always good if you're up. So,
yeah.
What about you, Mike? I know you did good. How you looking so far?
Yeah, it's been going pretty well. I got bummed because one of my rules when it comes to baseball betting is when there's weather in the forecast and the game's got a higher than 65% chance of being impeded by the weather, whether it be the start or afterwards, I and that I had the Miami game earlier today, and I had the under 4.5 for the first 5, Miami plus 0.5. I had the full game under 8.5, and I left it at that. Then there's a rain delay, right? End of the 3rd inning, there's a rain delay. And I knew after that spot was completely just ruined. And sure enough, Atlanta came back and won the first half. Then Miami comes back and wins the full game, and it ends up going over. So, outside of that, as we moved on and advanced, I did really well with the rest of the baseball slate. Parlay, the hip to be square parlay hit. So that's always fun. A couple of hockey winners out there. I did take a draw that didn't come through for that Tampa-Toronto game, but I had a lot of action tied to 3, 4, and 5 leg parlays, with the closing leg being the Vegas Golden Knights, and they're up 2-0 right now. So I'm excited because it should be a really good day based on these things closing out. The biggest parlay I have that's pending is 2,200 right now. So as long as Vegas Golden Knights can get it done, it should be a really profitable day. So rallied off that first game, which I'm pissed at myself for doing that. I know the rules. I wrote them down just so they would stick in my head, and I still screwed it up. So shame on me. I say my own medicine.
Yeah, it's got to be disciplined. I've learned it. Even if no matter how bad you want to do it, man, I gotta stick to my rules, and that's why I don't bet Boston games, no matter how bad I want to bet against them. You know what I'm saying? I it's like right there, and I'm like, no, stick to your rule. Do not.
And then you're losing. It's like I don't even need to track it. I know.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, if they lose, you're gonna be mad at yourself. Even if they win it, you be like, okay, whatever, they got lucky. But I think you'll be more mad at yourself if they lose because you knew not to do it. So. But hey, guys, that's all I got tonight, man. Just want to pick y'all brains, see what y'all was thinking about, for these second round playoffs. What about let's just do a little quick Cavs and Knicks. What are your quick thoughts on those? Because we didn't talk about those, but just off the top of your head, Dave, what are your quick thoughts about Cavs and Knicks series?
What's the series at right now?
No, it's a new series.
Cavs and Knicks.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
The Knicks won.
Yeah, the Knicks won. So it's the Knicks and who?
The Heat.
Knicks in Miami. I'm sorry.
I don't know. The Heat are definitely by far one of the bottom tier teams in the playoff, but they go deep in every year in the playoffs. It's because of the coach. It's not because of Jimmy Butler. He's been there. I don't know. I would say the Knicks have the better team. The Heat have the better coach and experience. So I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. I would have to see it first. I got to see how it plays out. What about you, Mike? Any quick thoughts on it initially?
I think it's going to be a good series. It's the Heat coming off that huge upset, right? I mean, huge upset. I don't know the last time that's happened in the NBA. It's been a while, right? I mean, you don't see it. You don't see eights dismantle the number ones like that, and they dismantled them. I mean, it was less than a week that series started and finished, and it was no contest. The Knicks, they're out celebrating like they won the championship already after the first series. Knicks have home court, so that's a huge advantage, I think, at Madison Square Garden, that the Heat have to come travel, up north to a raucous crowd. I think the best opportunity the Heat have to win that series or win a game, they're going to have to steal a game in New York if they're going to win the series. I think it could be game one. I think it's a situation where they're still off that emotional high. I'm looking at some early numbers where everyone's gassing the Knicks right now. Of course, it's like a Yankees tax. There's a New York tax factored in. It opened at -5. It's down to -4. I think the Heat are live in game one. I just wonder how the Knicks rally and recover after that. And if they can not get too far behind early, then they've got a shot to win the series outright. I'd like the Knicks. I think the Knicks would be fun. I like a New York market being in there. I don't really care too much about Miami as it is. So, I'm not a fan of the way they play. I hate all that South Beach talk as it is. Maybe it's because I'm jealous, but I think the Heat are live game one, and I think the Knicks are alive to win the series after that. So I wouldn't be against looking for Knicks to win the series after they lose game one type of bet too. Just quick thoughts.
Yeah, I agree. The Heat are hot since that first playoff loss, that play-in game loss to the Hawks. They have won 5 of their last 6 games, so they're hot. And I would agree they may catch New York sleeping first game. They could pull it off, but I also agree that the Knicks probably give them a gentleman's sweep. But
the league with these play-in games there is something, right? Because everyone kind of dismissed the play-in games, and I'm like, why would you have them if they're not trying to promote it and advocate it? And I think it's a cool little feature that they have around that thing. So yeah, it's extra games, but we see it in from my world on the NHL side of things. It happens a lot where that team comes in as a wild card team and they're chomping and they're in playoff mode for weeks in advance. Does it have enough to carry them to win the championship? Most of the time they gas out, but at least early in the first couple of series, you see them play competitive and do some things that you wouldn't otherwise expect them to do. So it's exciting, man. I think it's a cool way that they changed the NBA season. I like the ideas that I've heard them floating around as well to put a half season playoff format together for some of those weaker teams too. So I like it. I like to see what they're doing. And I like to see these teams that are hot early stay hot often. And, I think it's cool for the game and the sport, but I think the New York market is where, the NBA wants to be biggest market out there in the world. And, I even heard some of the guys in the draft today talking about the Knicks and how they're on the Knicks, and the Jets players were talking Knicks. And so I think it's going to be a Knicks spot, but should be fun.
Yeah. I agree. And we also now have Boston and the 76ers. The fact that Boston won tonight. So I can't bet the games because I don't bet Boston games. But if I did bet it, I would be on the Sixers. I just believe Embiid is too much. He's going to be the X factor. Can the Boston keep him off the boards? And can they neutralize him and make James Harden beat you? If you rely on James Harden to win a game, more often than not, you're going to lose it. I from experience, believe me, I've watched this guy live. He doesn't do well under pressure, but he has Embiid. He has a coach, and he has different players that can produce. Maxey can create his own shot. Tobias Harris can be effective in ways. So he has a team that he could possibly be effective. But will James Harden be the James Harden that the Sixers need to pull this Boston? Because they're going to have to play defense. Because we know Boston's going to shoot a lot of threes. It's all about them hitting their threes. I don't think the Sixers need to play that game. Get inside, pound it with Embiid, put the pressure on Boston to defend him. And I believe the Sixers can pull it off. That's just me. So, any other thoughts on that? Or
I'm with you. I think the Celtics are overrated. I think it's all around Embiid. This is Embiid's time to shine. You want to be a star, buddy? Don't take a game. Don't do this thing like all the stars. Take a game off. It's typical Embiid style. I mean, but the thing is, he's always playing hurt. He's a big dude that jumps up and down. So he's got injuries you don't know about. So maybe I should give him, and all basketball players do, I guess, but just seems like he takes games off. This is time for him not to take a game off. This is a time for Maxey to step up. Harden's a bum, but they can win with Harden not even playing. I'm not high on Tatum on the other side. So I think it goes to 7 games. I think the Sixers win though.
All right, Mike, what do you think?
I like. I clearly, I'll tell you. I'll take a step back and put my disclaimer out there and say I've got a Lakers to win the full championship ticket at 50-1, and I've got a Lakers Sixers projected championship matchup at 125-1. Those are like 2 random drunk one night bets that I took. That it was a situation where everyone was hyping up LeBron and AD when they were coming back to the Lakers, so I grabbed them. I grabbed both spots because. Clearly, my allegiances are to that city of Philadelphia. I'll tell you a player prop to look out for is Melton. Melton point props has been smashing and cashing. That dude's been kind of tagged between 7.5 and 9.5 points, and he's coming up with 12 like every single game. So bench players, I think, are playing clearly playing critical roles in the postseason. Yep. We're looking at teams that have breadth of participation up and down the roster are huge. And I think a guy like Melton, you'll be able to pick his props up at either -110 or plus money, and they're going to be around 8.5. And I think he's going to be good for double digits every time he plays. So he's a live dog out there from a player prop perspective. Keep an eye on him and don't be afraid to smash him.
Hey, man, I like it. For real. Sounds good to me, man. So we will see what happens, We're looking forward to it, and of course, we'll be on some more streams, and we'll be talking about it while the action is happening. Because when we're on live streams, capping these games, what do we continue to do, fellas? We continue to cash. So let's keep it up. So till then, man, appreciate y'all for coming on. Mike, let the people know where they can find you.
Yeah, guys, follow me at PimpSlapPOD, man. We're trying to do our best to give you guys winners on the Twitter page there, and throwing out parlays and pimp slap plays, and every so often what I think is some decent retweet content. So, you know where to find me. You know where to find my streams. I'm out there with my boy Dave. I get down here with LJ. We mix and grind it up on Friday nights with the Pub Store stream, and then Sunday, of course, Sunday Night Lives. We're out there, man. We're making it happen, and hopefully you guys are cashing. So show the support. Follow me on Twitter. Follow my boys here on Twitter as well, and let's get that money.
Yeah, man. Follow Mike. I'm telling you, the trends are your friend. Believe me, they cash. And like I said, he does the research for us. So all you gotta do is, hey, Mike, what's the trend? Boom. Bet it. Don't even think twice. Just bet it. Just bet. Dave, where can they find you?
Well, thanks for having me. First of all, thanks to the chat. Okay. On Twitter, I have Twitter picks from Dave. I give out picks. I put it's for retweeting picks. Sometimes I'll put it on an original something or other, but I do pick videos every night on YouTube. I have a YouTube channel. We also do live shows with Mike We're going to be having a set schedule for that. We did one last night. Your show, PSR, I just kind of spread it out. I like surrounding myself with winners and people that I think are good people. So I do everyone's show that I like and are friends with and I think are good cappers, and you guys give out good information. So again, thanks for having me, and I'm looking forward to keep doing these.
Hey, man, thank y'all for giving me your time, because I know time is money. And when we're doing this, we're trying to make money. So, hey, appreciate y'all for coming on. And, of course, they can follow me at LJ Sports Media on Twitter, streaming right now, like we're doing right now on YouTube, RaWordz Podcast. Follow it, like, subscribe. And like I said, man, continue to keep following, because we are going to try to give y'all winners, man. We don't do this for fun. We do it because we love doing it. This is what we do. We try to make money. And, hey, if y'all want to tell. If you not fade, whatever you want to do. But most of all, it's time to get this money. So, Mike, appreciate you again. Dave, appreciate you once again. And, of course, as we all know, follow me on Pub Sports. I will be on Jimmy's show tomorrow. So we'll be doing an NBA segment on Pub Sports. Live stream, like Mike just mentioned, Sunday. We got the Astros and Phillies, Sunday night baseball. So it's going to be good. And whatever playoff matchup is Sunday night, let's just look right quick. April 30th, we got Heat and Knicks game 1, and the Warriors game 7, the Lakers game 7, if it happens. But we'll see. So
we'll have some NHL out there too, I'm sure, at that point. So it'll be popping.
Oh yeah, man, it's always popping on the live stream. So, like I said, man, thank y'all for tuning in. Hopefully, y'all got some good knowledge, got some information that y'all can use. I threw out some props. I will be throwing out some more later on this week for the playoffs this week, kids. So let's get this money, man. This is what we do. So till then, this LJ from H-Town, Mike, Dave, we out.
Yeah, R-A-W, words being served, no concern and no trouble to get that dough. Money on my mind, if it's money all the time, we be pumping on the grind. If it's LJ from Houston, pulling up stats, you'll be pulling in stacks, hitting bookies from the back with no Vaseline. I need green and upsea quantities for a fiend, save the dreams for a game. This is H-Town, home of the lean. Astros is the team, and we rock it. Texans for life, you can't